Today, I'm taking you aboard one of Europe's most traditional international night trains, the Istanbul Sofia Express. We'll travel from Halkali on the outskirts of Istanbul all the way to Sofia, with a strange border crossing in the middle of the night, where a much simpler one used to exist in times past. I'll show you the train, the overnight ride, the famously convoluted border crossing, and what it's like to wake up rolling through Bulgaria on the way to Sofia. Come along! Hi and welcome to Halkali. We're about 25 kilometers from Istanbul's city center, and this also happens to be my first video of 2026, so it's the perfect moment to wish you all a very happy and excellent new year. But how did I get here? Earlier today, I was near Cirkesi, the historic station where international trains from Europe used to arrive in Istanbul. From there, I took the Marmaray commuter train, which since 2013 links the European and Asian sides of the city, all the way here to Halkali. There will be a dedicated video about the Marmaray system in the near future, but for now, it's time to have a quick look around Halkali station, and well, there isn't all that much to see. What is notable though is the airport-style security process at the end of this queue. Afterward, a quick ticket inspection.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Very fine, and you?
And only then are passengers allowed to descend onto the platform and to their trains. My train is already here, but before we hop on board, let's take a look at the train from the front, because there are actually two interesting stories hiding in this consist. First of all, this isn't just a train to Sofia. Tucked into the consist are also couchette cars bound for Bucharest in Romania. These won't make the whole journey together with us though. Later tonight in Dimitrovgrad, the train will be split and the Bucharest cars will head off on their own adventure. And we'll meet them again in a future video when they reappear in Gorna Oryahovica, continuing their journey through Bulgaria and onwards to Romania. So, in a way, this trip comes with a built-in sequel. But this train also carries a lot of history. The Istanbul Sofia Express is the modern descendant of the legendary Balkan Express, which for decades since 1916 connected Istanbul with Central and Western Europe. Back then, this route was part of a much longer international journey, carrying sleeper and restaurant cars through Yugoslavia, Austria and beyond. Border crossings were simpler, paperwork was handled while passengers slept, and waking up in a completely different country felt almost magical. Today, the route is shorter, the procedures more complicated, but the spirit is still very much alive. This train remains one of the last true international night trains in the region, and tonight we're part of that story. It's now time to board tonight's TVS2000 sleeping car. Introduced back in 1998, these cars feature 10 sleeping compartments and, despite their age, are still known for a good rolling quality and, most importantly on a night train, a decent night's sleep. And here's my compartment, which I'll show you properly a little later on. For now though, it's time for departure and to begin our overnight journey from Istanbul to Sofia. And as usual upon departure, today's trip map. Running into the night, let me show you now my compartment, still in day mode. Later on, it will be converted into night mode, but for now, there are these two seats, a nice vanity with a towel and a 220-volt power socket, there's storage above and also below the seats, and these coat hooks for jackets and backpacks. By the door, there's a ladder used to access the upper berth, which of course will remain closed tonight. Near the window, we have this table, a small fridge with a few complimentary snacks, and a locker. There's also a bin and a much welcome small window that opens, a rarity these days. Above the door, you'll find the lighting and air conditioning controls. Now, however, it's time for dinner. Please bear in mind that this train doesn't have a restaurant car, so you'll need to bring your own food on board. After that very nice dinner, let me show you a little of the train, starting by the toilets, with each car carrying both a Western style and a Turkish style toilets. Let's walk a little through the train now, so that I can show you the couchette cars. Here they are, one in day mode, and another already in night mode with two beds lowered while the upper berth remained closed. And finally, at the very front of this very quiet train tonight, we find our Class E68000 electric locomotive hauling us steadily into the night and towards Bulgaria. Back in my compartment, it's time to convert it into night mode. Bed linen comes neatly packed and sealed in these bags, and passengers are expected to make the bed themselves. Being this the end result? Not too bad, eh? There's also this very handy bedside lamp. I'm not going to sleep just yet, though, because we're approaching what might be the strangest border crossing you can imagine, already past 2 AM. Due to ongoing works, border controls were moved from Capicule, the last station before the border, to Edirne. Here, we must leave the train, pass through passport control, and then go back inside. In times past, things were much easier. Passengers would simply hand their travel documents to the conductor, who took care of all border formalities without the slightest disturbance. You'd fall asleep in Turkey and wake up somewhere in Bulgaria. Today, however, we have to disembark here at the Turkish border, and then, on the Bulgarian side, border guards come on board to collect passports and about half an hour later return again to give them back. It's quite unpleasant, and it makes a full night's sleep totally impossible. In the meantime, there's also some shunting going on. Our train moves to an adjacent track to make room for the international service in the opposite direction. Our Class E68,000 electric locomotive is also replaced by a diesel DE24,000. Due to ongoing works all the way from here to the Bulgarian border, destined to increase capacity and speeds, overhead catenary was disabled, and for that reason the diesel locomotive holds us on this final stretch in Turkey. Finally, after 1 hour and 50 minutes, we depart Edirne at almost 4 in the morning. As for me, I'm absolutely exhausted and really need to sleep. I'll be woken up again at the Bulgarian border, twice, but for now it's time for my night ablutions, to close the blinds and curtains, lock the door, and good night. Good morning! After the two brief interruptions at the Bulgarian border, I managed to sleep soundly for over 5 hours. Our first stop of the day is Kostenetz, and this is when I realize just how late we are. Yes, we lost a lot of time in Edirne, but clearly we lost some more along the way as well. Here, we're stopping more than 1 hour behind schedule. Oh well, it is what it is. Fortunately, I don't have any pressing connection in Sofia, so that's okay for me. It's time for my morning ablutions, and for breakfast I'll make good use of the complimentary snacks from the fridge. Simple, but perfectly fine, especially while rolling through Bulgaria with its very pleasant scenery outside the window, which I'll now let you enjoy in peace, just like I'm doing. The stop at Podujane signals that our journey is nearing its end. It's a brief stop, mainly for passengers heading to this side of Sofia, but for us there's still a little bit more to go. And finally, at 11:03 in the morning, with a delay of 75 minutes, we arrive at Sofia Central Station. So, what are my impressions of this trip? The train itself is comfortable, offering a genuinely good night's sleep, and the crew was very friendly and welcoming throughout the journey. That border crossing, however, is simply terrible. It's almost said that passengers are forced to leave the train in the middle of the night, only to be woken up twice more for passport controls. In the past, things were much simpler, and there's really no reason we couldn't return to a level of comfort that used to be the norm. A restaurant car serving proper meals for dinner and breakfast would also be a very welcome improvement. And finally, I'd love to see this train return to Cirkesi, serving Istanbul city center once again. Or better still, using the Marmaray Tunnel, maybe even terminating on the Asian side of the city. That would allow a simple connection with the trains to Ankara and beyond, and passengers from all over Istanbul would be able to board this train hassle-free without needing the long commuter ride to Halkali. So, would I use this train again? Yes, I would, especially because I like trains. Even with its shortcomings, it still beats flying any day, let alone driving or taking a bus. But that's just me. And you? What do you think? Would you take this train or would you fly between Istanbul and Sofia? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for riding with me on today's journey all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and drop a comment below. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these rail adventures rolling, always with a bit of history and technology. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next week.